Hey y'all. So yesterday we were at a family reunion type of deal, I guess you can call it. We went over to some of my family, and we had hamburgers, and we had more than just music and all that. But, and it was the tail end of a conversation. I can't remember how it got started, but but we started talking about sin. And some members of my family, my Uncle Mike, said, well, we've all sinned. And he's absolutely right. But some people try to make a bigger deal out of some sin than it should be. But let me explain here. If you would turn to John 8:7, again it's John 8:7, a little background, and adulteress, someone who cheated on a husband, was found and brought before Jesus by the Pharisees. And they asked, well, what do we do with her? By the law of Moses, it says we should stone her, but we wanted to get your opinion. Of course, they didn't really want his opinion. They wanted to trick him, but Jesus, being Jesus, knew the intent of their heart. We pick up in John 8:7. So when they continued asking him, he raised himself up to them and said, he who is without sin among you, let him throw the stone at her first. That's a powerful verse. And I think it can be taken a couple of different ways. But I want to focus on one way in particular. Jesus is basically saying what we said. I mean, that we all sin, that's obvious enough. For all sin and fall short of the glory of God. Now, obviously some sin has more weight than others, like, for example, adultery, that we read can break up a family or a marriage. Or if you go out and murder someone and then apologize for it, well, he's still dead. Where the lie can be easily patched up with the truth. But God doesn't have a scale on sin. Another way this can be read, what he's saying here, is no sin is greater than another. Not only do we all sin, not only do they all realize that, but no sin is greater than another. That's what the Pharisees tried to do and ultimately got them in trouble. They tried to cherry pick, hey, you can't do this sin is too great, or this sin can get you excommunicated, or something like that. But all the while they couldn't keep themselves from, quote, the little sins. They couldn't keep themselves from lying. They probably couldn't keep themselves from stealing. They couldn't keep themselves from anything that we would consider minor. But ultimately, like I said, is that self-righteous attitude about God's outlook on sin that ultimately can get you in a lot of trouble. I mean, we all sin, that's true, but also God had no scale on sin. No sin is greater than another. Sin may be weighted more than another, but ultimately, in the eyes of God, it's not gonna be. We all in the exact same boat. We're all in the exact same page when it comes to our sin, regardless of our circumstances, and regardless of our upbringing, and just regardless of anything. We all in the same boat when it comes to our sin and when it comes to how God sees it. God is not self-righteous about sin, but some people are. And that's a dangerous game to play, because ultimately we're all in the same boat. We're all in the exact same position. The cross is exactly level at us when it comes to our sin. But the great thing about that is, the fantastic thing is, no matter how great you think your sin is, or no matter how minor, God's going to give you the exact same opportunity for grace and love. Not because we deserve it, but because He is gracious for His creation. He loves us more than we can ever understand, despite our sin being absolutely abhorrent to Him, no matter what it is, because He is so holy. Guys, I love you. God bless you. I'll be praying for you. Stay safe, stay wise, stay humble, and I'll see you next week.